Hello once again, everyone. Today we're going to be putting down the swords and the axes, and we're going to go a little bit of dagger work. Specifically, we'll be going over Meister Peter Falkner's dagger, and for this I will need an arrogant nobleman. In this case, it is going to be Randy. Now, we're going to start off with the attack from right side via ice pick grip. So if you would, boom. It's coming in from the right side, point is down, his thumb is reinforcing, and he's attempting to go through my collarbone down into my torso. So this is what I have to deal with. The way I'm going to deal with it is I'm going to set myself against it as I bring the outside of my arm against his arm. If I happen to miss and end up more on the dagger, it's okay. There's nothing really important on that side of my hand. But I'm also stepping into it, not away. Because of how long the daggers are of this period, if I try to run away with this and lose the structure, he's just going to follow me. I have to step in and underneath and hopefully even get this a little bit higher. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my inverted thumb, and grip onto his forearm, and twist, which as you can see affects his body position. So together. Now that he's off balance, I'm going to take the opportunity to throw him. Now you'll see that I'm wearing a dagger as well, and you might say, why not just stab him? Because you can't always go for the dagger. Here, twist, step in, and I have my throw. Hips and knees, specifically. I hold on to the dagger on the way down, which I'm going to do now. Twist. Keep that dagger, and we're all good. Now for this next one, I will have my dagger out. So the parry remains the same. I catch and I twist, but now, of course, I have the end-all option of just stabbing him back. But let's say, like I said, he is the wealthy nobleman, and he has some pull with the local council, so if I just stab him, his widow is probably going to make it so that I get executed the next day. So I have a non-fatal version. It's not necessarily a nice version, but it's non-fatal, which is I take the back end, crack him into the jaw with it to get him set back, hook around his torso, not this way, because if I do this, I'm going to need to throw him forward, but behind his neck on my right. Then I step in and use the dagger as leverage and take his away. Now, let's say he comes in from the left side. So he's still attacking right-handed, it's just now it's coming in from the left side, and I will not really be able to parry with this arm anymore, because if I try, I'm going to end up here with my thumb forward, which is going to lead to my thumb breaking. So instead I'll have to use my right hand, which changes things a little bit. Again, I set myself into it, and I grab and I twist to the outside now. Sometimes I'll even use my forearm to keep his dagger from sneaking in, but now I don't have the opportunity to just throw him so easily. Throwing someone on their back is much easier than throwing them onto their face. So instead I'm going to attack the elbow, which he's presented to me. I'm going to take my palm, push it up against the underside of his elbow, and turn his arm over, which as you can see forces him down into a compromised position, from which I can just take the dagger away. So, a little more speed on that. And if need be, I can kick out his leg or something along those lines, or I could drive him into my knee. But with the dagger, however, because the dagger is always worn on your dominant side, now I have a bit of an obstacle to deal with. Sure, I have my pointy thing out, but there's no way for me to safely attack him once he starts this motion. I also can't switch hands super quickly, so I'm going to have to just deal with what I have. In which case what I do is as the attack comes in, I'm going to catch and hook instead, from which point I can do exactly what we just did, as long as I'm mindful of not stabbing myself, or I have a good opportunity to perform what is called the Schlüssel, or key. And here, lock that in, reach underneath your own arm to grasp your dagger, and you pull it to you. Now, you can't feel what Randy's feeling right now, but the ribs of the dagger here are catching into a nerve that's right about there, and it is not pleasant. From there, once I've got him here, I can just pull him down across the ground as much as I want, and in fact the depiction shows laying them out fully and then walking away. So that's with the dagger on this side. Now let's talk about sword grip. So now, rather than coming from above, he's going to down his dagger and shank me from below. So to parry this, I'm not going to rely on just one hand. Sure, I can, and it's not that difficult to do, but it's risky, especially if someone decides they're really going for you at close range. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to post my body back into the hinge tip as much as I can, and I'm going to cross my hands and push them down hard onto his wrist. Now, you can do it this way, which again will ensure that in case you miss or something, you're not going to lose anything. But because there's no chance of me breaking my thumbs anymore, I like to do this way. So, dagger comes in, grab. Now, there's a bunch of different things we can do from here, but I'm going to do the meanest one I can think of, because I've decided I don't like this nobleman. And I am going to step in as I pull the hand up, squat down, and bring the arm down onto my shoulder. Now I can do this in two different ways. I can do this in the mean way, which breaks his arm, or at the very least hyperextends it. Or I can do this in the nice way, in which case I spin in the other side, and now have a shoulder throw. We won't do the shoulder throw because I don't want him landing super hard on the floor, but I will show the arm break with a little bit more speed. Just like that. And as you can see, he wanted to let go of the dagger, which is also a wonderful end to this. Now for this one, I have my dagger in hand, and I want to have it also in the sword grip. So we've kind of squared up sort of West Side Story type. As the dagger comes in, I'm going to half sword the dagger. So I'm going to put my palm here onto the flat, and I'm going to use it to parry down nice and strongly. Now what I can do from here is I am going to open up my right hand and wind my pommel underneath his pommel to then grip his dagger and pull it away. This doesn't hurt your hand hardly at all. Even if his dagger is quite sharp, because I'm grabbing it from the flat, it's not going to do much. And it can be done at a much more surprising speed than you would expect. The other cool thing about it is regardless of how strong he is, because I'm winding underneath his arm, it gets bent up like this, and he cannot hold on anymore. So, that was just a little bit of Dagger from Meister Peter Falkner. Thank you to Randy for joining me, and we'll go over some other things another time.